Do you recognise this? Most people will recognise the design. A classic Rolex Submariner, the most iconic watch of all time, worn by the rich, the famous, movie stars and rock stars alike. And as a result, it's one of the most faked watches of all time. 30 to 40 million counterfeits produced worldwide every year, giving the illusion of status to those who wave it in your face at every given opportunity. Now, genuine Submariners go for between 7 and 30 grand new, and they have a current lead time counted in years, not in weeks or months. Rare vintage models fetch hundreds of thousands of pounds. They are a status symbol like no other. If you have a real one of these on your wrist, well, it certainly says something about you, your success, your taste, your intention, your attitude. You have arrived. You are here. So they get faked a lot, and while some of the more expensive clones have amazing movements, the majority, well, the collar doesn't match the cuff, so to speak. They have cheaper movements, nowhere near the Swiss precision of the real deal. It's almost impossible to tell a really good fake from the genuine article from the outside though. It looks good, but appearances can be deceptive, can't they? Now, before we get into this, I just want to say what you do is up to you. I am not here to tell you otherwise. If you're on HRT or any other medication to get your health in line, this is not about that. Let's just get that absolutely clear. Ultimately, everything is judged on how good it is at its purpose, right? A hand is pretty good at being a hand, but it makes a pretty rubbish ear, doesn't it? But that's not its purpose. It's a hand. We don't judge how good it is as an ear because that is not its purpose. A watch's purpose is to tell the time. The minute, no pun intended, it becomes a status symbol or a piece of jewellery, its purpose changes. A watch is about performance, keeping accurate time, but a status symbol, a piece of jewellery, is about projection. Almost all fakes focus on appearance, watches, clothes, luggage, etc. The hidden parts, the zips, fabrics, linings, mechanisms that define real quality, the bits we can't see, are cut back and churned out rapidly and cheaply, and quickly they fail. They succeed in their projection only, not in their purpose or their performance. So what about us? What about humans? In social media and beyond, high profile endorsements and the lure of earning a living from being really, really ridiculously good looking pushes people to shortcut their way to the top. And not just shortcut, but they also go way over the top of what is humanly and naturally possible to the utter extremes. But more often than not, it's a veneer, a facade, cosmetic surgery, a pill injection, and increasingly the use of AI that gives us the impression of something insane and inspiring, perhaps, to look at. But it's cheap inside, it's jewellery, it's all about a status symbol, a primal signal to the tribe that they are the best. But it's a projection. Primarily, being strong, fast and agile shows you're a great warrior, a hunter, but the method, the how used to achieve it is faulty, fake and flawed. These people can't perform what it is they're projecting to us. Performance enhancing drugs are a perfect example. Once they were the preserve of the professional athlete, they've been normalised now though into amateur sports and even just general high street aesthetics. They strip fat, build muscle, boost endurance, but all with serious side effects that actually compromise true, honest and sustainable performance. Steroids can cause liver failure, kidney damage, heart disease, infertility, mood swings, and a whole host of health and fitness issues. Look at how many bodybuilders, strongmen, rugby players and so on die early as a result. It's a lot. It's not just that though. Ligaments, joints and tendons that haven't adapted as quickly as the muscles weaken the structure of the body, along with something that's called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, an increase in muscle volume from fluids, glycogen, non-contractile tissue rather than myofibrillar hypertrophy, actual contractile strength fibers. So they look stronger than they actually are. EPO and blood boosters can thicken blood to risky levels, with some pro cyclists having to hop on turbo trainers at 3 AM just to keep the circulation going. That's how sludgy their oxygen-rich blood gets. If not, they'd die. I'm pretty sure our ancestors did not have to do that. Likewise, our phenomenal hunter-gatherer forebears didn't jack up on human growth hormones, the side effects of which, I mean, it's not really surprising, is it? These are not healthy. They are not things a fit, healthy person suffers from because they put something in their bodies. The list of fitness influencers dying for their image as a result of performance drug use is growing at an ever-increasing rate. And all for what? In my world, there are some parallels. Classic and iconic recording gear such as instruments and compressors and guitars, they cost thousands of pounds. So clones and replicas are everywhere. But if the sound doesn't perform, the outward shell is meaningless. The purpose is different here. Sure, you can pick up a very cheap, pretty poor sounding Strat copy for under £100, but the real clone market is all about performance, often at the expense of aesthetics. Its purpose is vital. Its projection, its image, less so. And that takes work and skill, time and effort to design and make. Now there's digital manipulation, pitch correction, timing tweaks.
And now with AI, tonality, character, and even gender can be faked. What you hear often isn't deliverable in real life by the artist.
We all remember Milli Vanilli, right? So what matters most? Is it looking like you can do something or actually being able to do it? Storytelling has a golden rule. Show, don't tell. Show me you can do it. Don't tell me because I don't care. Showing me tells me you can. Telling me does nothing. Because under the skin of it all, it's never about looks. You can talk a good game, but when it's time to carry somebody out of a burning building, it's your real health, your lungs, your heart, your endurance and resilience that matters. No performance-enhancing drug can give you the courage to cross that threshold, knowing that those hours in the gym, at the punching bag, on the hills or in the saddle on a cold, wet, lonely mountainside, doing it all for real, doing it naturally in honesty, it leaves you in no doubt as to your capability, both mentally and physically. So there's a deeper authenticity and mental health angle to this. For influencers, athletes, anyone faking success, it leaves a cost. No matter what the world sees, you know the truth. The truth is a lie. As Chris Eubank Jr. said, only we know the truth when we're being punched in the face. If I passed off a fake as real, I would know, and that's what counts. How many social media influencers and successful athletes that have been exposed or even haven't been exposed suffer from mental health problems? They know deep down that it's all a fraud. They never ever seem to be right in the head. Lance Armstrong teammate Jonathan Valters talks about his great moment of glory, winning a time trial up the feared Mont Ventoux mountain in 1999, setting a new record. Should have been the best day of his life, but instead he felt, in his own words, hollow inside, because he knew he did it doped. David Miller talks about how his first clean pro win post-doping felt like redemption. Perhaps, after all is said and done, the biggest strength a human can build is not one that there's a steroid on the planet for. Honesty. So the fakery impacts both mental and physical health, and all for looks. Apollo 13's astronauts didn't care what their Omega Speedmasters looked like when they had to manually time a perfect 14-second fuel burn to survive re-entry. It was the movement inside that matters. Who would buy a Ferrari with a Fiesta engine? Yet you see an awful lot of people putting powerful engines in small cars all the time. Speaking of which, I was told on good authority that a famous Ferrari I saw at a vintage car festival wasn't the real deal. The car was so expensive that insurers decided it would be cheaper to put the original in a bank vault and make an exact replica, each nut, bolt and rivet identical. To all intents and purposes, an identical car for public appearances and races, a perfect blend of performance and projection. At that point, is it really a fake or a clone or a replica or what? It does get a bit messy for sure, but it performs. And it doesn't end there. Many museum masterpieces are too valuable to insure or display. The Mona Lisa is valued at over $860 million. It's essentially uninsurable and behind bulletproof glass. Some believe we're not always looking at the real thing. And if the public knew, they'd feel cheated. Nobody wants to consciously look at a fake. So the truth is hidden or made a little bit blurry so that we can still believe. And that's why so many influencers and actors are dishonest about their methods. They need us to believe for there to be any value because, well, that's the only value there is to it. There's no other reason. Take that away and you're left with nothing. Back to the watch. I paid about £120 for it. This one actually isn't a clone or a fake. It's what's called a homage. It doesn't pretend to be a Rolex. It's not branded as one. There isn't a crown on it anywhere, and I wouldn't try and mislead anyone that it was. I just love the design. It's iconic, but the movement is basic, like a beginner drummer trying to keep time, and I wouldn't pretend otherwise. So take away this: don't judge a book by its cover, it's the words that matter. You do what you want and only you know the truth. Whether cars, art, watches, sport or social media, the deeper question is always the same. What's its purpose and does it perform? Or does it just look like it should, but when you pop the back off, what you find inside is a cheap movement? Look after yourselves. Watches, clothes, luggage, etc. Luggage? Luggage. Watches, clothage,